My name is Gary Dehart, and I do want to thank everybody for joining us here today for today's webinar, Streamline Your Client's Rental Property Accounting with Xero and Landlord Studio. Like I said, my name is Gary Dehart. I'm the publisher of Insightful Accountant and Tax Practice News and host of today's webinar. Our speakers are Jarrod Randall from Xero and Logan Ransley from Landlord Studio. They're going to share with you the top features for solving landlord workflows, fast reconciliation and reporting of these workflows using Landlord Studio and Xero. Before I turn it over to these two gentlemen to provide their own intros and into today's presentation, a couple of housekeeping items. One, there is no CPE on this session. Two, if you have any questions, we do ask you to put them down in the questions panel. The link to the recording will be sent to you within about 24 hours, and it can be found on the recording can be found on our YouTube channel, which will be usually about 2 days before we get it posted there. But again, we'll send you the link in the follow-up email. The slides, I will put the slides into the chat once Jarrod, once these guys take over. And then again, the slide deck and the link to the YouTube channel will both be included in the follow-up email. So if you have any questions, again, put them down in that Q&A panel, and I will get these things put into the chat once these guys take over, which is right now. Again, Logan and Jarrod, thank you for joining us. Thanks for sharing your knowledge with us today.
Not a problem. So hopefully you can see my screen here. And I'm just going to do a bit of an introduction, introduce myself and also Jarrod too. So from all the kind of CPAs that I've been talking to this year, it sounds like since pushing through tax deadlines, they're kind of still in recovery mode. But now is the time to be talking to your clients about the apps and technology that will help make their lives easier. So today we're going to look specifically at combining cloud accounting and property management software to create an all-in-one solution for your rental property clients. This webinar teaches you how to streamline your client's rental property accounting by using both Xero and Landlord Studio. And in addition, you'll learn about new tools that will help your clients better manage their rental properties throughout the year, which means when it comes to tax time, you'll have all the information and documents you need at your fingertips, saving you time and stress as well. But first things first, I'm Logan, and I'm the co-founder of Landlord Studio and an official member of the Forbes Real Estate Council. And our software, Landlord Studio, is an approved connected app in the Xero ecosystem. We basically provide rental accounting and property management software for over 4,000 landlords. And with more than 40,000 properties under management on our system, we've perfected the art of keeping landlords organized and prepared for tax season. Originally, we set out to create an app to help landlords, but we quickly began to see that by providing a solution for landlords to streamline their accounting processes and property management, we could also help CPAs overcome a central problem of poorly organized clients. And it's those poorly organized clients that are really costing your money firm every single year, especially at tax time. So I just want to introduce my co-host as well, Jarrod, a partner consultant from Xero, focusing and serving in the real estate industry. Welcome, Jarrod, and why don't you share a little bit about yourself and your team?
Yep, thanks, Logan. Hello, everyone. My name is Jarrod Randall. I'm the partner consultant for verticals and franchises at Xero. So in short, I'm responsible for supporting our small businesses and their accounting and bookkeeping advisors by providing industry relevant solutions at all stages of their journeys. Prior to joining Xero, I founded and grew a cloud-based CPA firm serving small businesses in varying growth stages. And in that, I inherently fueled my focus on advocating for beautiful business platforms and those platforms that truly empower clients to work more efficiently and effectively with their CPA advisors.
Awesome. And it's really good to have Jarrod here from Xero. So hopefully today you learned something. Let's take a quick look at the agenda for today. So First, we're going to chat briefly about the state of the real estate market and why there's never really been a better time for landlords to start moving online and into the cloud. We're also going to discuss why it's a great time for advisors like yourself to go ahead and pick up those additional landlord clients as they start to become more and more professional in their approach. I'm then going to hand it back to Jarrod to highlight Xero as a platform and how it currently serves clients that have a wide variety of complexity. We're also going to discuss the pain points experienced by different landlord personas during the investment journey and how these challenges can ultimately affect the firm's practice efficiencies. Jarrod will then discuss how Xero's ecosystem partners play a pivotal role in solving clients' complex challenges that sit typically outside of the accounting realm and how advisors solve these through recommendations. And then next, I'll jump in and do a little bit of a demo of how Landlord Studio and Xero works together to solve some of those pivotal challenges for landlords and accountants. And finally, Jarrod and I will cover some next steps to help you get the most out of Xero and Landlord Studio, including our real estate resources and the Landlord Studio's partner program for accountants. So make sure you stick around till the end. We'll be sending out some free Xero chart of accounts templates for real estate clients and firms. But before we jump in, just want to learn a little bit about the audience here today. So let's kick off the first poll question. I'd love to know, how do your real estate or Schedule E clients currently track their income and expenses? We'll just give a little bit of time for the results to come in from that poll here, and then we'll continue on.
Looks like most people have participated, so we'll go ahead and close that out, and we'll share those results.
Cool. Well, it's great to see all the Xero users here. And for those who aren't using it yet, hopefully you learned something today in this webinar. So let's jump into it. Over to you, Jarrod.
Great. Thanks for that, Logan. All right. So let's start by sharing some of the context about the real estate industry, what we're here to talk about. These figures that you see, they've actually been pulled from sources like the IRS income tax data, as well as Rental Housing Finance Survey, which is conducted by the US Census Bureau. And according to their estimates, there are currently over 12 million landlords in the US, which represents significant addressable fit for accountants. Now, of those 12 million landlords, they are currently managing 48 million rental units, which as a whole represents 35% of the total share of the housing market in the US. And based on these market factors, most experts agree that they expect this to increase as we continue to move into the future. Now, the average renter stays in their current dwelling for a little over 2 years, which represents a great long-term recurring revenue stream for landlords. The thing that is really going to drive up the percentage of households being rented is the price to rent ratio. Now, when that number is at 100, it means it's equally as affordable to rent a house as it is to buy a house. And this index is based on a 2015 benchmark of 100, and it's been steadily increasing year over year. It really picked up momentum due to the pandemic, as well as inventory shortage that's been plaguing the industry. And currently, the number's at 122. So what that means is it's pricing more and more people out of the market to buy a home, which increases the overall demand for rentals. So this is really evident by looking at the average increases in rents in just the first 6 months of this year, which was at 10%. So, I mean, this is a very large increase in just a very short amount of time. And the last data point I want to highlight is the $353 billion of rental income that have been reported on 1040s. You all know what 1040s are if you're on this call, I'm assuming. So roughly 7% of every 1040 that was filed, that had reported rental income. So what this means is that 1 in 14 1040 filers are reporting rental income, again, signaling a really large addressable market for accountants to really focus on. Now, of those that did report the rental income, only about 50% of those are actually reporting net income, while the remaining 50% are actually losing money. So this really just reinforces the importance of having an up-to-date and accurate financial records, and it reinforces the value of our accountants working with landlords to ensure that they're reducing their tax liability, taking advantage, full advantage of any applicable tax laws that can impact their rental property performance. So with all this in mind, I'm going to go ahead and open up another poll question for us to learn more about your firm. So the next poll question is, how many real estate or Schedule E clients do you currently have at your firm?
All right, we'll wrap this up in about 5 more seconds. So if you want to participate, please do. All right, 3, 2, and 1.
Great. I was really excited to see what the results of this were. Very interesting. It's great to see that we do have some real estate focused firms here today. We tend to see 3 different personas of landlords. And so I'm going to hand it back over to Logan so he can discuss these personas, their primary pain points, and really how these challenges can ultimately affect your firm's efficiencies.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Jarrod. So let's take a look into them. The first persona we'll talk about is Heather Woods. So she's a small portfolio landlord, and investors like Heather are either just starting out or have inherited a property and become what we tentatively call accidental landlords. Generally, they are working full-time and self-managing their rental properties. And as a part of this, they're also self-managing their bookkeeping and tax management, only ever to use a CPA when it comes time to get their finances in order and file their tax return. The next persona we'll look at is Tyson Roberts. He's a more ambitious investor with goals to expand his portfolio, and he sees real estate as a business and investment vehicle that will allow him to build that kind of longer term wealth, retire early, and reclaim much more of his time. Tyson's also actively looking for tools and strategies to improve his real estate business, and will likely have explored various property management and accounting tools, and may even expect his CPA to be able to advise him on that. And advise on the best available tools on the market. Ali Dalton, that final persona that we're going to talk about, is a full-time landlord or property professional. Ali manages a substantial number of units in a professional capacity. So this means she has more complex accounts of an incorporated business and will likely have employees and managing the aspects of that business in different ways, such as inspections, tenant management, rent collection, and even the bookkeeping. Now, let's look quickly at each persona's pain points and how they ultimately impact your practice. Our part-time small portfolio investor, Heather, is struggling with the lack of time, balancing numerous responsibilities, and she struggles to keep that paperwork organized. Expenses are often forgotten, and her funds are typically commingled. On top of this, with the limited time restrictions, they often struggle with key day-to-day tasks, such as finding and managing tenants, managing maintenance requests, and the property inspections as well. And they're still likely collecting payments manually via cash or check. Tyson spent time looking at ways to increase the efficiency of his property management and bookkeeping. And this has probably led to an adoption of a variety of tools and processes, some spreadsheets, some paper, some digitized receipts, cloud accounting tools, and more. The collection of tools is costly, and while a step in the right direction, it hasn't actually made tax time any easier for him or his CPA. And alongside all the pain points of that previous persona, we're talking about Ali now, who has to contend with keeping up-to-date records of income and operating expenses while managing the expectations of controlling interests by, delivering regular financial reports, etc. They're likely utilizing several systems, resulting in, double handling of data, that process, which is, time-consuming and error-prone. And she also struggles to get that kind of real-time visibility into her property portfolio that she needs. So how does that really impact your practice? Your landlord clients' pain points create highly undesirable inefficiencies for your practice, including, delays in disorganized client files, incorrectly categorized accounts, inconsistent reports and statements, additional or duplicate manual data entry, lack of visibility to documents and receipts, etc. All these things just are really creating a much more stressful tax time. These people desperately need the tools that will not only help solve their pain points, but also help you work with them more efficiently and add value to your practice. We know that without the right tools, these clients are simply just not profitable for your firm. So why is now the best time for landlords to move to the cloud? Over to you, Jarrod.
Awesome. Thanks, Logan. Well, let's take a look at why it's never been a better time for landlords to make the move to cloud-based tools like Xero. As rental demand increases, more landlord clients are seeking out an accountant or an advisor to work on things like tax planning, but they need someone that can work around their busy schedule. And this is made possible with cloud-based tools, specifically like Xero's single ledger. And this lets both accountants and their clients access and work on financial accounts simultaneously, providing up-to-date, real-time accounting data. And the cloud also enables us to access accounts on mobile devices, which makes everything in life easier, better aligns with your clients' on-the-go lifestyle. I mean, we unfortunately literally live on our phones. We'll be saying that for years to come, I'm sure. Business should live on the phone as well, right? Many times the rental property owners, they'll combine their real estate related income and expenses within their personal accounts, like Logan mentioned, commingling of the funds. This can be a really painful experience as a CPA, right? With cloud accounting and Xero's open banking, it's easier than ever to set up dedicated bank accounts and use features like bank feeds, which streamline access to the client's banking information. And last but not least, being able to have this data stored in the cloud and connected to other components of your tech stack is going to enable you and your client to leverage Xero and our certified apps like Landlord Studio as a single source of truth for everything. So no more countless disconnected systems. Now, systems and tools are meant to solve real pain points. So let's move to our next poll question. I'd love to find out more about the biggest pain points you're seeing from serving your real estate and your Schedule E clients.
All right, we'll wrap this up in about 5 more seconds. So if you'd like to participate, please do. 3, 2, and 1. Thank you.
All right, let's take a look here. Very nice. So yeah, we can definitely, see some alignment here with the biggest pain points we've talked about and the power of the cloud-based tools that we're talking about today, which is awesome. So next, I'm going to share some of the key features within Xero that are benefiting the workflows of our current partners and landlord customers. So if you have a cleanup project or a catch-up project and you're working with your landlord clients on more of an after the fact basis, or you're just looking to reduce your manual admin, our cash coding tool leverages AI and machine learning technology to automate the coding and the reconciliation process. So it allows you to bulk code and reconcile transactions with minimal effort. Improving visibility into the financials of your client's property portfolio is key to provide added value and help your clients view their portfolio through a business lens. So with the growing number of units per landlord client, using Xero's tracking categories is especially useful to break that data down by unit or by property. So it's key to fueling those kinds of value-add advisory discussions and services. And from a practice management point of view, we have Xero HQ. And it's there for our advisors to use things like Xero Asks. It's a feature where you can put together checklists or gather information from your clients in bulk. So sending requests in bulk and pushing out information in bulk as well. And you can also use Xero HQ to query your client base. You can customize report templates, which include the ability to break down that P&L by property or by unit and pull in fixed asset register for the property details. We can clearly see that as landlords scale their portfolios, their workflows become more complex. They begin to require solutions to solve their financial tracking and their management. Like this, in a recent survey conducted by Xero, research has shown that organizations who use 5 or more apps have seen sales growth of 4.3%, while those who don't use any at all have experienced a 3.4% decline. But if the solutions they choose don't speak to each other, this could make life even harder for you. So it's not just about the existence of tools, they have to speak to each other. And this is an opportunity for accountants to present solutions that make their life easier for them and their clients. And this is why Xero is partnered with Landlord Studio. They provide an excellent solution that solves the day-to-day operational challenges that sit outside of the core Xero product. So I'm going to hand it back over to Logan to introduce Landlord Studio and how it can help solve these workflow challenges for you and your clients.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Jarrod. So Landlord Studio was built with a single purpose in mind. It's really to simplify the bookkeeping and management for landlords and property managers. We've essentially built a suite of tools to help your landlord clients track their income and expense transactions, while including management tools like online rent collection, lease and tenant management, and some of the automation features that will help their day-to-day. And combined with our Xero integration, it truly is an all-in-one platform for landlords and accountants. Landlord Studio brings all the functionality your clients need to successfully run their rental properties while making it intuitive and easy to use. As you can kind of see from previous slides on the different landlord workflows, Xero offers everything the accountant needs, but the landlords may have some key requirements for features that aren't typically built into the accounting platform. And this is actually an opportunity for you as a CPA to provide additional value. Landlords have to contend with the day-to-day management of their rentals, as well as staying on top of the finances for end of year. And historically, this has meant adopting a variety of systems that are both time-consuming and error-prone. But by streamlining these processes into one easy-to-use solution, essentially, Landlord Studio enables the landlords to operate a more professional and scalable rental business. Landlord Studio also allows landlords to do everything, and particularly from a mobile perspective, from finding and screening tenants to tracking and automating the rent collection online, and also that income tracking. The app means that they can digitize and track expenses in real time, which reduces errors and ensures every deductible is accurately tracked with all the correct documentation securely stored and easily accessible if you ever need it. And with our pre-filled default categories that are pre-populated from the Schedule E 1040, they're actually less likely to miscategorize expenses. We remove all the complexity with that. And with our accountant-approved reports, just a tap away, they can actually gain some of those more nuanced insights into their portfolio throughout the year, which is really important. All of this key financial data is then, seamlessly synced to their Xero account. And this allows you to access your client's data and take advantage of Xero's powerful customizable reports to quickly identify any accounting errors and potential money-saving opportunities. Essentially, Landlord Studio becomes a nice front end on top of Xero. So what are we solving with Landlord Studio and Xero as a combined solution? Accountants love Xero, but over the years, we've found their real estate clients just may have a few challenges operating all the aspects of their business using Xero. And this is because real estate clients are busy. Many of them don't have the time to use a full-fledged accounting system. They need the tools that can help them manage their portfolio, not just their accounts. So by offering a system designed specifically for the needs, we make it as easy as possible for them to stay on top of their bookkeeping while streamlining their property management so they just have more time overall. And this is why the seamless Xero integration is such a game changer. Now accountants and landlords don't actually have to choose. Each party can have the tools best suited for their needs. No double handling of data, no need to wade through numerous error-ridden spreadsheets or spend hours searching for lost documents. You can get a clear oversight of your client's finances when and as you need it. A really great example of this was when I interviewed one of our accounting partners, an H&R Block franchisee. And his feedback was saying to myself was, the best thing I like about Landlord Studio is that you're basically removing the need for my client to wear, a certified bookkeeper hat. He articulated that problem with a story of one of his clients where, the accounting is actually very intimidating for clients. And he watched one of his clients, while he demonstrated the reconciliation of a bank feed and manually uploading a statement. And then the client tried to do it themselves and simply duplicated a lot of transactions, just creating a big nightmare and mess. And I guess that is the main difference right there between Landlord Studio and accounting software like Xero. We're essentially speaking the language of the real estate investor for landlords, and then we're translating that into the language for our CPAs. So let's jump into how we do that from a product perspective. So we offer a range of time-saving functionality and features for landlords. These include, the income and expense tracking with our mobile app, the bank feed integration, an inbuilt receipt scanner. Your clients can then generate, comprehensive financial reports from our pre-designed and accountant-approved reports. And this gives your client the tools to better understand their own finances on a day-to-day. We also have the online rent collection feature that includes a tenant portal. And this provides the ability for tenants to view, upcoming and historical payments, set up automatic rent payments, effectively digitizing payments altogether so you don't have to collect cash and check. And this drastically reduces the chance of late rent payments. Plus, all the payments that are actually made through Landlord Studio are just automatically tracked. They're all logged automatically, and that's just going to save additional time and increase that bookkeeping accuracy. One of the most difficult challenges of being a landlord is finding the right tenants. And that's why we've built in the rental listing feature, which allows landlords to easily find and pre-screen tenant applications. And then they can run a smart move TransUnion screening report that just assesses all the rental history, income, criminal background checks, and more. And then finally, we've included a few additional time management features too, reminders for important dates, property inspections, safety renewals, etc. So all these features are really designed for the landlord just to become better and more efficient business owners. At the end of 2021, about 15% of all renters were actually behind on their rent payments, and according to National Equity Atlas. And actually, in our own data, we saw drops in on-time rent payments during COVID. And now, as we're in recovery and we're past that era, there are much greater fluctuations month to month than ever before, which reflects that kind of uncertainty and change in the market that we're facing. For example, last year in December, we saw a 3% drop in on-time payments compared, to 1% in 2018. In order to address this increased kind of unpredictability and assist tenants in managing those rent arrears, our software is making that as easy as possible, because they can simply just log in to the platform, view the payments coming up, and then basically schedule rent payments directly from inside the portal, which is helping avoid those rent arrears. They can, avoid the rent arrears so they're not missing out on payments, etc. And on top of this, through the same system, we formalize the comms or communications between landlords and their tenants, with tenants being able to submit maintenance issues that need addressing. This means both parties have a clear record of collected upcoming overdue rent and a record of maintenance requests, which just helps that whole relationship between both your landlord client and their tenant. For landlords, this results in happier tenants who are more likely to pay the rent on time and stay in the property longer, meaning just more steady income, fewer costly vacancies. And this is really important in today's market as we kind of see the impact of COVID unfurling. And then finally, talking about the Landlord Studio and Xero integration. Essentially, what we're doing is combining Landlord Studio and Xero so that you can take advantage of Xero's advanced customizable reporting features while simultaneously empowering your clients to save time and increase their profitability. Additionally, you get to use the software that you're familiar with and take advantage of the kind of additional benefits that Xero offer to accountants, such as easy client management and billing, client reports that you can generate at any time, which basically means no more clients with piles of paper receipts and messy spreadsheets. This is creating real-time accurate information. But what does this kind of look like from a Landlord Studio perspective? Basically, landlords use the Landlord Studio app to enter expenses and income in real time, digitize those receipts, reconcile transactions, and then all that information is then synced automatically to Xero based on some chart of account mapping and bank and tracking categories as well. And that seamless flow of data means the accountant can then log into Xero, which they're already familiar with, and review the data, create reports, and run reports. It's creating a standardized process right across the firm. And landlords have the added benefit of also getting to use an industry-specific solution designed to help them streamline their property management. So I guess with that in mind, I'm just going to share an overview of how Landlord Studio and Xero works to solve some of those workflow efficiencies just in a small demo. So I'm going to do that now. I'll share that demo in just a second. Jarrod, just let me know if that comes through and you can hear the sound come through. Just give me 1 second here. Now, Landlord Studio is designed for do-it-yourself landlords. Essentially, any landlord that is self-managing their properties or self-managing the financial aspect of their rental business, which in theory covers all real estate investors. Now, we focus on providing the financial tracking tools and management tools so that they can automate the bookkeeping process, but also all the aspects around tenant management, lease management, etc. We have a number of features. For instance, we have the applications feature and the listings feature, which work together. Landlords can post listings online. They can then accept applications from tenants and then review that and then accept that tenant into the property. We also have other features such as reporting. So landlords can run their own financial reporting. They can run reports around vacancies, any P&Ls that they want to do for their own financial insight. But this just really allows the landlord to be empowered to really understand their business better. Another feature that we have is the bank feeds feature, which sounds similar to Xero, except the way this is designed is that it brings in the transactions into Landlord Studio more as a reminder, because as you scale your portfolio and you have a number of different properties, forgetting transactions for specific properties is quite easy to do. So what we do is we import transactions more as a reminder function so that landlords can go in there and then create the transactions from the feed that has come through from their bank account. And then finally, our online rent collection feature allows landlords to essentially collect rent and utility bills from their tenants through an online portal. And that just helps with receiving on-time rent payments so that they're not behind on rent payments from their tenants every single month. When you log in, you're presented with a dashboard view like this, which can be filtered by any payment category or properties. And all the payment categories and expense categories are essentially like a chart of account. They're pre-populated from the Schedule E 1040. So this allows landlords to start logging transactions straight away without even having to set up any sort of chart of accounts or anything like that. It's all pre-populated for them so that when it comes to actually doing tax and reporting on that, it makes your life just much easier. So let's just jump into the properties view now and just have a look at how the property is set up. Now, the best thing about this for landlords is that we remove the accounting terminology and we simplify it by conveying the real estate terminology that they're used to. So rather than using tracking categories and classes and chart of accounts and all the accounting terminology, what we're doing is we're basically conveying that in a way that is, rent, late fees, leases, expenses, tenants, etc. So that makes the entire experience of doing the bookkeeping just much more streamlined and efficient for them. So the way that Landlord Studio is structured around the property is that basically we have a lease, we have the property details, the mortgage information, we have all the payments which are broken down by category and dates, etc. We can then assign tenants. In this case, we've set up online rent collection, and this tenant is now paying their rent manually online. We can assign LLCs, entities to these properties so that reporting is just much easier when it's done by entity. We can upload property documents, lease documents, any documents that will just help you when you're doing audit processes or just keeping the property nice and organized on file here. Notes, expenses, reminders, and then the mileage function as well. So if you are looking to track mileage and time spent against a particular property for tax deduction purposes, the landlord can do that in here as well. And just a reminder, you can use this on mobile, so Android, iOS, and web. So tracking on the go, tracking mileage on the go, tracking receipts on the go, tracking payments, etc. can all be done from your mobile device, which just makes the whole process much easier for the landlord to stay on top of everything. Now, to demonstrate the flow of data between Landlord Studio and Xero, let's just jump into Xero to start with. I'm just going to give a quick overview of the current setup I have so that when we demo the Landlord Studio transactions, you can see them come directly into Xero. So here I have my demo account set up with a couple of cards, and I've got my checking account linked here as well. If I jump into the checking account here, you can see all the transactions that have been imported into Xero, either via my bank here or created in Landlord Studio, and you can see them that they are reconciled here against a bank statement line item. If we go across the reconcile tab here, what we see here is essentially the reconciliation through the bank feed feature in Xero. So when you log Landlord Studio transactions, what will happen is they'll come into the right-hand side of this reconciliation table here, and then the bank feed transactions that are imported directly into Xero from your bank account will appear on the left-hand side. When the transactions match up, they will be highlighted green, and then you'll be able to easily just reconcile them directly from in here. So we'll show you that in just a second. But before I can show you this, let's see how Landlord Studio is mapped to Xero. We'll jump into the integrations menu where we can see the Xero integration here. And all we need to do is just jump into the configure. This is where Xero is connected to Landlord Studio, and then their chart of accounts, tracking categories, and bank accounts can then be assigned to both the organization and properties. You can see in here that all the Landlord Studio categories that you use for tracking and logging income and expenses can then be assigned to a specific Xero chart of account. You can see all these chart of accounts are pulled in real time directly into Landlord Studio so that you can then assign them here. It will then list a type, whether it's a bank, revenue, expense, etc. You can also filter by the income and expenses here. So just heading back to now the bank and tracking categories, we can then see that all properties are then assigned to a specific bank account that has been set up in Xero. Again, this is all in real time. You can then assign this bank directly to the property so that when you assign and log transactions in Landlord Studio, they flow directly into Xero and then come under the corresponding bank account. The tracking category is also important here. These are used to then differentiate between properties inside Xero so that you can then run those reports nice and easily. So jumping into the property details page, let's show this Landlord Studio integration in action. If I head into my property A, unit 1, I'm going to start to log some transactions and see these match up in Xero. The first one I'm going to log is a payment for $1,500, and this will be for the 15th of May. So as we go on here, we can pull this up. We can then log this for the 15th of May, for instance. Our rent's just come in, no late fees, $1,500, and all we need to do is click save here. Now that's added that first payment. The next payment I'm going to do is for the 15th of June, but this time I'm going to log a $50 late fee. So this is the where the multiple line item situation starts to come into play. So let me just log that now, and then that's all logged in the system. Now I'm going to log a expense against this particular property. This expense will be for $1,600,590. We'll just remove the tax from there, and we're going to make this for a repair, for instance. I might even assign a supplier to this as well. And then let's say this is a capital expense. Let's say that we needed something replaced and we need to mark this as a capital expense. All we can do now is just enter in all that information, go ahead and click save, and then that's done. Now for my next example, I'm going to actually attach a receipt to this one. So on here, I can select that receipt, upload that with this expense. Let's go for 17th of June again, and this one's going to be for $38, and we'll assign this as a auto and travel expense. All I need to do then is just click save. That uploads the receipt image against that expense and then pushes it through to Xero as well. And then jumping back into the expense again, I'm going to log a final expense of $1,500, for instance, and let's assign this 17th of June, and we'll assign this as an insurance cost. Again, super easy, click save, you're done. That pushes it through to Xero again. So now I'm going to head back into the integrations menu and then head inside the Xero configuration and across to the view transactions tab on the right hand side. This page gives me a full breakdown of all the transactions that have been logged inside Xero to the corresponding categories and property, and gives me a status to basically say that it's been successfully pushed into Xero and has been created on that side. So now that I've created a few transactions inside Landlord Studio, let's have a look inside Xero to see what this looks like now. We can jump back into Xero and see under the account transactions that there's a number of different unreconciled transactions that have been created by Landlord Studio. If we head across to the reconciliation tab here, we can then see that all those transactions have been linked up to corresponding bank transaction line items. And this basically just allows you to auto sync using that Xero AI feature that's built into the bank feeds product, and then easily just reconcile these transactions by hitting OK. It's as simple as that. Once you've done that, you can head across to the accounting and head into a report. In this case, I've set up a Schedule E report. And what this allows me to do now is essentially run a report using Xero and the tracking categories that we've set up for each corresponding property, and then see a full breakdown using, in this case, the Schedule E report that I've set up, a full P&L for both properties. Easy as that. All the transactions are synced from Landlord Studio into Xero, and this just allows you to run those reports nice and easy from your client side. Cool. So let me just change my screen back to the slides here. So I hope you enjoyed our demo just to see how, I guess, Landlord Studio and Xero can work together for your firm and your clients. There are a lot more features that and workflows that we didn't really cover today. And one of the biggest updates is actually auto reconciliation inside Landlord Studio, which basically allows Landlord Studio to become the source of truth from a bank feed perspective. Auto reconciles and populates those transactions into Xero. But what I want to do now is just open up that fourth poll question for today, and really just want to understand the audience to see if you would like to schedule a demo. So we've got a few options here as some next steps. So feel free to answer this poll just to gauge exactly what your next steps might be. Give that a little bit more time.
All right, we're going to go ahead and wrap that up. And Logan, there is a question in the Q&A. If you want to take a look at that.
Yeah, so I saw the CAM allocations. So probably the best approach is for us to either jump on a demo for Landlord Studio or Xero, and then we can show exactly how that's done. So feel free to reach out or I guess express that interest there, and we can organize that. Cool. So I think the poll question's been closed now. So it's great to see all those who are interested in checking out Landlord Studio and Xero. So let's kind of share a little bit about how Landlord Studio works with accountants and CPAs, and how we can help you succeed with your landlord clients. So let's jump into to see how that works. Similar to Xero, we have a number of different benefits that you can access, simply by being an accountant or CPA. These include discounted accountant-only wholesale pricing that allows you to bundle Landlord Studio in, resell, etc., and really just increasing the value for your clients. We'll also take care of everything related to onboarding and setting up your clients, so you don't have to worry about that. And this can be done through our self-service portal. That includes, help articles, video tutorials, webinars, or simply just invite them to a one-on-one call with our team and we'll take care of the rest. Your clients also get access to the world-class support that you can see in many of the reviews online that we have. And access to a dedicated success team is really just going to help you quickly answer any questions that you need. And finally, for every accountant that signs up to our partner program, you basically get access to market your firm for free to our 4,000 plus users. And this is ultimately just going to give you more exposure to get more clients and build your real estate niche. And not only can we provide your clients a trusted Xero certified app, but we can also help you turn those unprofitable rental clients just into higher revenue generating clients through the Landlord Studio value added benefits, bundling them alongside tax planning, financial planning, etc. So if you do want to learn more about Landlord Studio and Xero, please head to landlordstudio.com/Xero. And if you've requested a demo, one of Xero's team members will reach out to you to discuss if it's the right fit for you and your clients, and then we can determine the next steps to help you get started there. And here's just a testimonial from Tim, one of our accounting partners. So basically, he's seen a reduction of about 50% of the time he usually spends with clients just by implementing Landlord Studio, just helping the actual client just streamline and systemize all the tracking of income and expenses. And here's another accounting partner, Sheila. Again, a positive experience around the clients and using the product in their tax planning. So what are those next steps again? Feel free to head to landlordstudio.com/Xero, but we will actually send out an email with some of those free landlord resources, free chart of accounts templates that Xero offers, and we've got some other guidance on how to use them as well. Now, hopefully this webinar has been helpful just to show you how to streamline your client's rental property accounting with Xero and Landlord Studio. Again, head to landlordstudio.com/Xero. But for now, Jarrod and I are just going to stay around here for a few minutes just to answer any questions that you might have. So pop those into the chat below. And we're also just going to share off a couple of different points that weren't included. These are typically frequently asked questions. So what Xero licenses does Landlord Studio work with? We work with all the licenses, including the Xero Ledger, which is actually great because our automatic reconciliation feature inside Landlord Studio basically allows you to eliminate any double reconciliation. Effectively, you get all the reconciled transactions straight away whilst being able to leverage Xero Ledger, which is one of those low-cost options for the landlord clients. If you offer Landlord Studio to your clients and if they depart, they can still keep all their data. We can easily transfer that to the clients. So there's no issues there. A question around the balance sheet sides of things. So Landlord Studio is very much a cash basis type of product. Income and outgoings is our core functionality. So we don't currently have a balance sheet. We recommend using Xero to generate a full balance sheet and whilst using Landlord Studio to take care of all the ease of use around the bookkeeping sides of things. And then the question around cost. So we do have a retail pricing model, but effectively as an accountant or CPA, you can access some wholesale pricing as well. So feel free to head to this link and we will share a little bit more information there as well. Is there any information you want to share, Jarrod, at all?
Yeah, just a couple of quick things I wanted to pop in on just about Xero, how our partner program works for those of you who aren't on Xero or don't know about it. I mean, the high level of it is, we get asked a lot, hey, I've only got a few clients on Xero, or I've got none on Xero yet. So what's the benefit of the partner program if I'm not going to move my whole book of business over to Xero on day one? That's totally fine. We just like to say, hey, but we empower accountants. And so our Xero partner benefits, they're designed to give you what you need to be successful in managing your clients, however you define success. So obviously, the more points you earn in our partner program, the higher status level you get more benefits that way. There's pricing benefits, obviously, but other great benefits, like, you get a free Xero subscription to use for your practice. That includes Xero projects, Xero expenses, free Xero HQ access to manage your staff and manage your clients within the accountant kind of portal version. We have free conversion tools to easily move clients over to Xero. So we get that question a ton. How does conversion work? How easy is it? Does it cost anything? We do have free conversion tools to make that easy for you. We've got a great online learning module to expand your knowledge and help you actually use it to the best. And we have free Xero marketing materials to help you promote your team and your client events. We are big in partnering in on the marketing of your firm, because we know that's a huge thing for all businesses, but especially accounting firms. I know we're going to come up on time here soon, so I want to flip it back over, Logan, and anything else we want to do to wrap up. I don't want to keep everybody.
Yeah, thanks for that, Jarrod. And I guess just in summary, I hope the webinar has been helpful for you just to understand how to streamline the rental property accounting with Xero and Landlord Studio. And again, feel free to reach out to us. But until then, feel free to check us out on socials. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. So enjoy.
And then just before everybody bounces off, Jarrod, I did want to run a question past you. And that was on, and I know, and something I think we published this recently in Insightful Accountant. So Xero is doing some meetup type activities. I don't know what you guys are calling them, but kind of out to the ballpark kind of activities across the country. Are those just open to anybody? And if let's say I'm not a Xero accountant or a Xero user, but I'm interested in going, how do I learn more about that?
No, absolutely. I appreciate you bringing those up. So we have multiple things going on. We have this time of year, we have what's called our Xero road shows. So to your point, we're all over the US in sort of our key community areas. As we speak, there's events happening in Chicago. DC's coming up. We'll be all over the country. So if you have questions about, like, you can check out Xero and you can contact me, email us. If you want to know more about them. But like, if you're not a partner, to your question, I mean, you'll learn about Xero that we are very open to embracing everyone. We just get excited when people come and say, "Hey, I want to take my firm forward. I'm experiencing these challenges." That's what people like me and people who kind of serve our partners are there to do, is to hear about your firm, hear where you're trying to go, and so you'll find a very welcoming, vibrant audience at these events. If you find them, show up. If you have anyone at Xero, their contact information, you can ask them about them and we can get you the right place, and just come and talk with us. Totally fine. And
are those the meetups, or what are they called? Like I said, I think we wrote about it recently.
Just trying to think of what it would have been.
Somebody can search it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm trying to think of what specific one would have been talked about at the time, but there's different in the different communities. We have teams within various US communities who do host meetups, and so it would depend on kind of what part of the country you're in as to like when and where it would be. And we actually have account managers who kind of host and run those, and so they would be promoting those within their locales.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I'll track it down too, and I'll put a shout out to it on our site if we have. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I think it was advertised on our site. I'll dig it up. I'll put it back out there, just to make sure people are aware of it. So,
that's great. I appreciate you bringing it up. I will say Xero, like, again, we're very collaborative with our accountants, and so we love in-person events. We host a lot of them, and they're always a good time. Like, I don't think you'll hear anybody come away from one that says like, that was a complete waste of time and I wish I hadn't gone. Like, you'll have fun and we'll have fun together. So
yeah, I intend to go to the one here. There's one, I think, at the College Football Hall of Fame here in Atlanta.
Yeah,
Do it.
if you look in the chat, Leith posted a couple of, if you want to check out, again, the road shows that are happening right now, and a good kind of gateway into seeing what's available right now.
Perfect. And then there is one other thing in the Q&A, a question. I'm gonna let you guys take a look at that, just out of my league.
Let's find it here. Tax strategies. Brief
It's probably
demo
a
on
little
some.
bit deeper than this, but
Yeah. I will tell you, if you'll, follow up with, like, the follow-up email will come to you, and if you can get back with us, like, we can set up time and talk through more of kind of what you're looking for based on the question. It's brief demo of some tax strategies using Xero and Landlord Studio. If it's more about workflow, like, we can get more into like the demo today showed, the business and sort of happens in Landlord Studio. Everything can come over to Xero through the integration, and then we have report templates that really help make the tax process and the reporting really efficient. That then enables you to actually do more tax strategy work, right? Like, it gives you that chance to interact with your client on a more frequent basis, because the information is how you need it when you need it. And so you can actually have those more tax strategy meetings. I remember when I was in practice, I did quarterly meetings, and it would have been a terrible pain to make value out of that if I was having to do a ton of work ahead of time. But using a workflow like this, you can have everything kind of flow to reporting, do analysis, and really, like, fuel your tax strategy conversation. So hopefully, reach out to us, and we can set up time and talk more about it.
all right, very good. Well, I think we will call that a wrap. Logan, Jarrod, not Jarrod. Jarrod, thank you so much.
Jarrod, whatever.
Just call you for dinner, right?
Yeah.
And Laith, certainly appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, for taking some time out of your day here to learn a little bit about Landlord Studio and Xero. And we look forward to seeing you on the next webinar, or hopefully in person somewhere soon. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.